Welcome back to Restore Thrive, guys. It's been a while, so happy to be back with you guys today to talk about back pain. So I think the stats are something like at least 80% of us are going to have one incident or more of back pain in our life. So we see a lot of back pain in the clinic here at Restore Thrive. So I want to give you guys a quick primer on what we start people with for pain relief and to also help facilitate healing when we have back pain. So if you are bending forwards, so in this case, if I ask you to do this, or if I ask you to put your hands on your hips or here and come backwards, and those things aggravate your back pain, most likely you have some disc irritation. The discs are bothered most with flexion and extension in the back. So that's a very quick assessment you can do at home to go, do I have an irritated disc? Is this what is bothering my back pain? So if you guys come into the clinic, we'll do a little bit more of a thorough assessment than that. But if at home you find that bending forwards and backwards is bothering your back, what we will often start people with is something called disc hydration. And again, this is one of those things that not only facilitates healing, but can give people pain relief depending on the time of day. So disc hydration, what that means is what is the status of the plumpness in your disc? That's a medical term, plumpness. So this is somebody who is younger. Let's say you are less than 45 years old. This is most likely what your disc looks like if you haven't had major trauma. 45 or younger, again, you're going to be a little bit more plump in that disc. So our discs make up about 25% of our height. They are supposed to be plump, kind of like the meniscus in your knee, a little bit different, but they've got some hydration, some water in them. As we age, after age 30, it is actually normal for that hydration in the discs to decrease. So if you are over 45 or over 50, your disc height is most likely going to look more like this. And again, outside of trauma at one level or a couple of levels because of a fall or a car accident, things like that, if you took an image of somebody who was 45 or 50 or over, most likely every level of their discs are going to be just a little bit smaller, again, than somebody who is younger. So if we have a younger person, 45 or younger coming in, and we do an assessment, or at home you wake up and you're like, gosh, what is going on? Bending forward, bending backward, both or one of those bothers you. This is a very safe thing that you can start with and will help you. So the idea behind his disc hydration is that we are trying to create the most optimal height in the disc depending on the time of day. So when you sleep at night and you lay down, in a younger person, everybody, but we're talking about younger person right now, that disc is going to fill with fluid because if you are here and upright, we have gravity working against that disc. But you lay down at night and sleep, we're offloading all of our discs in our spine, so our discs fill with fluid. This is not related to how much water you drink. Water is wonderful. That's not what we're talking about, and drinking water doesn't help your discs. I get that question a lot from clients. So just want to preface that. But what will happen when you're younger, you have plumper discs in general. So you sleep, you lay down at night, those discs fill with fluid. If you have an injured disc and then you sit up or stand up and you are upright, because of that fluid, which is a normal response as you lay down, you may have extra fluid though if you're younger. It's hyperhydrated in the morning. And if you have an irritated disc, most of our younger people tell me in the mornings they are more painful. So they sit up, they get up and they're like, oh man, mornings are not a good time of day. But they get busy, they go about their business. They usually feel best midday. But then as the disc dehydrates, towards the end of the day, they feel worse again at the end of the day. So not great in the morning, best midday, bad again at the end of the day is typically our younger disc presentation. So if you are that person, what you are going to do in the mornings is you are not going to bend, twist, or lift, or sit for the first hour of the day. Sometimes, depending on how my clients present, I will ask them to try for 2 hours of that. I know that's tough, but we have a lot of people, the first thing they'll do is go bend over to feed their dog or to unload their dishwasher, or people that go like to sit and drink a cup of coffee. So sometimes we just have to switch up what we are doing, or I'll have a client who gets up and 30 minutes later, they're out the door to drive 45 minutes to work in the car. So kind of depends on what your routine is in the morning, but I'll ask people that have this presentation of back pain to not sit, not bend, not twist, not lift, just be very intentional about how they're moving and what they're doing. And maybe get up and take a shower first, move around, get loose. So what will happen is we can do, can I grab you, Catherine? Sorry. I'll show you a couple of these things that we will give people in the morning. So Catherine, can you just lay down right here on the turf? We can do something called gentle knee drops in the morning. Again, this is for our younger people. So I will ask them before they get out of bed, if you want to lay all the way on your back, and then go ahead and bend your knees for me. And then all I'm going to have you do is drop your knees together nice and easy to the side. So we're not going for range of motion. We're not trying to drop our knees all the way to the floor, just nice and easy. This is called lower trunk rotation. And it's kind of like if we have a sponge, that disc super hyperhydrated, we're wringing out the water in the sponge a little bit, in this case, the disc. And so that helps that hyperhydration. So when people go to get up, sit up, stand up in the mornings, they're less tall and they're more of a normal height in the disc and they have less pain. So I recommend 20 or 30 of those in the mornings. We actually have lower trunk rotation already on our YouTube channel. So if you guys want to check that out, that's a whole separate video. Thank you, Catherine. So that's mornings for younger people before you get up. Because if you get up and load that disc and then go back to bed to try to do that, not going to help you. So that has to be before you get out of bed. That's our recommendation. And then these things that we don't do. And then again, as that day goes on, hyperhydrated in the morning, better midday, afternoons, we're too small in that disc. So we do something called unloading. And research shows if you lay down in any comfortable position, you are going to offload your discs. If you do that for a minimum of 5 minutes, that disc is going to fill with fluid a little bit, and we're getting a little bit bigger where we're supposed to be. Because the other thing about discs is they create some stability in our spine. So if you're too small, we have more instability. Our musculoskeletal system has to work harder to create stability. So you really want to have all of those pieces working well together to feel your best. So again, younger person, we don't do these things in the morning. We do lower trunk rotation in the morning, and then we unload in the afternoons. And you could unload, say, around 1 o'clock, and again at 5 p.m. if you want to, if you're finding you're having pain. So this is temporary because depending on what you are doing during the day, sitting loads the spine. A lot of times clients think that's a very restful position, but it's not for your spine. So careful with commutes, even coming home from work. If you find, oh man, now I'm super stiff and painful when I get home, just lay down for 5 minutes in any comfortable position. However, Catherine, can I have you again? One of the positions that our clients find they like best is to lay on their back in something called a 90-90 position. So, Catherine, if you wouldn't mind, say this is a chair, an ottoman, what have you. If you could just lay on your back and throw your feet up over here. Perfect, yep. And then you can kind of scoot your butt all the way up. So this is just a suggestion. Again, research shows any comfortable position is helpful for you to rehydrate your discs. But clients love this because it offloads the hip flexor muscle, which attaches up into your spine. And a lot of times people are like, oh, that feels best. So again, I've had people use a chair, an ottoman, or a physio ball, an exercise ball, if I have one at home to do this. So hang out here 5 minutes, grab a book, grab your phone, watch TV, whatever it is you want to do. So Catherine, thank you. So we changed this just a little bit for our older folks, people who are 45 or 50 or above or are more presenting where they say, hey, mornings are best for me. I get worse throughout the day. That's a common presentation for our older folks because they are starting smaller. They have more dehydrated discs. So when they lay down to sleep at night, those discs fill with fluid and they get up in the morning and they're actually at a normal height in their disc. So that is why they feel best in the morning. And as they do things, bend, twist, lift, sit, the discs dehydrate throughout the day. And so in the mornings, we just kind of say, do your thing, but make sure you unload sooner rather than later. Like maybe lunch on, they can do that a couple of times if that's the presentation of their pain. That would just be the unloading thing. Sometimes those guys are stiff in the morning too. And so we'll do a little bit more movement, get up, get moving, take a hot shower. And we also sometimes don't want to do these things either though, because we don't want to wring all the water out in that disc. So some of these things are the same for different people, but a little bit different depending on your age. So I hope this is helpful. This is something that we go over with a lot of our clients who have back pain. We see a lot of disc issues. They are very, very common. It does not mean you have to have surgery. So most of our folks, I can't remember the last time I had to refer somebody out for an injection or potential surgery. It rarely ever happens. So most of these can be treated conservatively, but we have to do the right things to offload the disc, to help facilitate healing, and to give our clients pain relief to start with, and then we get more stable. So if you guys have any questions at all, you can find us at restorethrive.com. Any other questions, please leave them below. We'll make sure we get back to you, and we'll talk to you soon.